Traveling with raw food can seem difficult and intimidating. Should you prep their food like you normally would? Should you put everything to balance the meal in the same container? How will you keep everything frozen? Many owners switch their pets to kibble when they're traveling, which is fine if the pet can tolerate it. But what if I told you that traveling with their raw food is much easier than you think? In this video, I'm going to go over a few ways to prepare raw food for travel, as well as how to travel with it safely and easily. If you want to go the easiest route with the least amount of effort possible, you can opt to feed a freeze-dried raw food. This is essentially a balanced raw food that's been freeze-dried and no longer needs to be refrigerated. All you have to do is hydrate it before feeding, so no need to worry about keeping it frozen or cold. The downside to this is cost, as well as high-pressure pasteurization. This process is when high pressure exerted by a liquid is applied to the food to destroy bacteria. While this is good for humans that may be handling the food, this process kills the beneficial bacteria that comes with raw, which is a downside for the pet. Of course, this doesn't really matter all that much for travel, but just something to think about. A brand that doesn't use HPP on all of their freeze-dried food is PRIMAL. Currently, they only use HPP on their poultry line. If you want to still be in control of your pet's diet and prep it yourself, but make it as simple as possible, you can always opt to feed PMR grinds, either made yourself or from online retailers like Raw Feeding Miami, Viva Raw, Top Quality Dog Food, or My Pet Carnivore. This is essentially raw bone, muscle meat, and organ meat ground together, and all you need to do is add meal additions to balance it. If you have enough room to bring these items, great. If not, you can bring bottled supplements like zinc picolinate, potassium iodine drops, fish oil, chelated manganese, vitamin E oil, and vitamin D drops. Of course, make sure you know your pet's dose. If you're unable to get grinds, you can also just put muscle meats into the prep containers and then either add Dr. Harvey's Raw Vibrants or Easy Complete to the meal before feeding. This essentially balances the meal for you with dried and powdered whole foods as well as the synthetic nutrients I just mentioned. I will go over how to store frozen raw safely while traveling a bit later in this video. If you want to travel with the same food you would be feeding at home, meaning whole raw meaty bone, muscle meats, organs, and meal additions to balance, that's totally doable. You just need enough room in your prep containers to bring everything. I've personally done this many times with no issues. It's just a bit more prep work. Just prep out the entire stay's worth of food and fill the containers with as much fresh foods as you can. For example, nut and seed mix, shellfish, steamed of course, kelp, and non-thiomanase containing oily fish, like Atlantic mackerel or pond smelt. If you're feeding any oils or drops, don't add these until the time of feeding, as some may be light and oxygen sensitive. To make this easier, you can simply just bring the foods that you need to balance the meal, and then shop for muscle meats, organ meats, and raw meaty bones at your destination, and then meal prep there. Whichever method you choose as far as prep, if you're not feeding freeze-dried raw, you're going to need to keep the food frozen. If you're driving, the simplest way to do this is with a cooler, along with either ice packs, ice, or dry ice. Make sure that all of the frozen food you need to bring is completely frozen when storing it in the cooler. Of course, the more you need to bring, the bigger the cooler needs to be. Usually, I can fit most of what I need in this small cooler, but I also have an extra styrofoam cooler that keeps things just as cold. During really long drives where Matsu would need to eat, I pack that food container in a separate insulated lunchbox so I don't have to open the cooler at all. If you will be on the road for multiple days, stop at a grocery store or gas station and get some fresh ice to add into the cooler when necessary. Some other beneficial items to bring along are travel bowls to feed them in, gloves when handling raw on the go, and sanitizing wipes if you need to clean up anywhere in the car. Usually, I will feed Matsu at a rest area though. If you're flying with your pet, you can still travel with raw as long as it's frozen when your bag is being checked. I wouldn't recommend doing this during the summer when you have connecting flights, but I did this with Matsu during the winter and it stayed completely frozen in my suitcase. Watch these videos to get ideas on some pre-made raw foods for traveling.